Welcome to a special presentation of The Mixing Room. I'm Daniel.
I'm Trent.
And today we come to you in professional virtual attire. We're actually both wearing pajamas underneath, but on top we're wearing collared shirts because today we are celebrating.
Yes, and as we prepare behind the scenes for season 2 of The Mixing Room, we wanted to recap some of your favorite moments and admittedly some of ours as well from season 1.
And what better way to do that than by starting off with raising a glass to Mallory Williams. You know, back in April, we sat down with Mallory and enjoyed some Jack Daniels while she talked about her forthcoming single, Back to Jack.
We have some clips from that conversation with Mallory, as well as some never-before-seen moments that are going to be coming to our social media soon, so make sure you're following us at Mixing Room Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. But for now, cheers to Mallory Williams for bringing us Back to Jack.
Back to Jack's honestly a cool song because me and my roommate at the time, we decided to do dry January. And I feel like dry January is one of those things. It's like New Year's resolutions. Like everyone's like January 1st, they're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick to this. Like, you know, and then like everyone always just ends up not doing it. Props to you if you stick to it. But I ended up, cause I was still in college, you know, there was always stuff going on. I ended up breaking it after 2 weeks. I think she did stick with it, but I broke it after 2 weeks. So the first line of the song was, sitting at a bar, said I'd take my last drink about 2 weeks ago. So that's kind of where that came from. And then I was like, okay, well, this would kind of be fun to write like a song about like kind of like a play on words. So I love writing songs with like double meanings. So I was like, well, let me just put all my favorite alcohol in one song and let me just sing about it. And so then it kind of turned into this like kind of like cool like play on words like type of song. But I also kind of wrote it to where you could be talking about a guy too. So you could either, I like writing songs where people kind of can form their own like meanings behind it. Whatever it means to them, however it speaks to you.
All right, Mallory, tell us how to make your take on an old fashioned.
Okay, so I'm starting with Jack Daniels, and little fun fact about me, I love Jack Daniels so much that I put it in a song, and it's called Back to Jack. So we're going back to Jack today, and I'm going to do a shot of Jack Daniels, but honestly, if you want more, I like to do a little more. Measure with your heart.
I always do.
A little splash of these awesome bitters.
The orange kind.
Yes, orange bitters, the best. Then I squeezed some orange juice, so I'm just gonna put like a little splash of that, and then like basically like a tablespoon of like simple syrup. So you don't want it too sweet. And then, okay, this is weird, but I like to put like a tiny bit of cherry juice in it. And these are the best cherries. They're from Woodford Reserve, so they have bourbon in them. So I actually learned this from my uncle, who's like really into bourbon. And so I always put it in there. And then you gotta do the little rim with the orange, drop it in there. And then I do it like a little stir. That's how I make my old fashioned.
All right, we got to give this a try.
Yeah, let's taste it.
How is it?
That is good.
Right?
Wow. Yeah.
It's the cherries, I swear.
I still want to work on the industry side because that is important to me. Like I've always wanted to kind of work on the business side because I find it interesting. Like there's so much you can do on the industry side, whether it's like marketing, management. You know, I even thought about maybe going back and doing entertainment law because I just want to help like songwriters and I want to help them understand the industry and like be protected. So that's kind of what my passion is. But it was more after I graduated. It's been hard finding like an industry job. I feel like, you know,
Absolutely.
I was working in retail, doing some social media stuff, but I feel like everyone can relate to that. You graduate and you think, hey, like I have this degree now and I went to Belmont, like all this stuff. And then you're like, what do I do with that? No one will hire me. Like,
Yep.
We were just talking about this before we got rolling here. Yeah.
Yeah, like you could have all the experience in the world, and I know like we've talked some about that. It doesn't make you just get a job. So there's so much that goes into it, and it's like it's a lot of networking, and it's not really about like who you know, it's about like who knows you. And so that can be hard because if you're just, you know, tiny little fish in this big pond of Belmont kids and people in music, like it's hard to find a job. So I was like, okay, well I'll just do this and then I'll keep looking, and then maybe I have more time to do more rounds now because I'm not in school and I'm not doing like classwork and homework and stuff. So I kind of started playing more, and then I got on more circuits, and then I started meeting more people. And then I was like, hey, this actually might be something that I want to maybe put more of my time in.
Thanks again to Mallory Williams for playing bartender that night and for inviting us into her own kitchen for that second shoot.
Yeah, absolutely. That was our first on-site shoot. Up till that point, everything we had done had been at this table. So we really appreciate Mallory for letting us experiment a little bit and get our feet wet on site.
And you can find Mallory Williams on Instagram at Mallory Williams and on TikTok at Mallory Williams Music. And both of those handles will be linked in the description of this episode. Be sure to give her a follow.
Liverpool has been in the news this summer, with Dua Lipa covering Hey Jude at her concert and Bruce Springsteen bringing out Paul McCartney at his.
Yeah, and Trent, you talked about Liverpool on some of our episodes this year, which surely that's equally as significant.
Oh, absolutely. Equally as significant is exactly how I would put it as well. We talked about Liverpool and the UK and London with Amalia Fleming from our study abroad trip across the pond. So let's hear some clips from that.
And I was still discovering exactly where do I want to spend my time in the industry? Like upon graduation, I want to be confident in the decision I'm making of at least where to start off. Am I going to be going full artist career or songwriter? Am I going to go be in the publishing side and do music when I want to do music and perform and all of that? And really what Sony and that internship showed me is before I can go support anyone else's career, I have to give mine a full shot and do it as long as I'm enjoying it. And I think that's been the biggest piece of motivator for me is the mindset of getting up, and it's a lifestyle. It's not about reaching a point where I, get famous or I have a big enough fan base to make a living. I'm waking up every day with the desire to do this as my living. And technically, I'm already doing that professionally. I'm getting up, I'm doing these co-writes that all the songwriters that, are already making their full livings off of it, or they're performers and they're signed, are doing. So if I'm enjoying that, then that's all that matters. And that's the mindset I've been in, is it's a lifestyle. It's not reaching a point to when you make it. The biggest source of inspiration for me is going out in nature. It's how I grew up, was, close to the beach in Morro Bay, California, on the Central Coast. And my family, we spent a lot of time just being outdoors. And my mom always taught me, if you're having a bad day, if you're feeling down, go for a walk. Even if you're sick, even if, you have a ton of shit to do today, go outside and you're going to feel better. And that's I will wake up and be okay, I know I need some source of inspiration. I got 2 writes tomorrow, and I've got to find something that ignites me, and getting outside does that. Same thing with reading books, reading poetry, or just picking up the guitar and humming something and throwing some words out there. And sometimes your subconscious knows more than you do about what's the right thing for you to write that day, and concepts that you wouldn't even have come up with. The defining moment, I don't really tell the story anymore because it's just so long ago, but I was 9 and I was walking I think it was a President's Day or something like that, where we had the Monday off, and my family was we're going hiking, we're going out to our favorite spot. And I was 9. I was walking behind. I was kind of singing a song. That's what I would always do, is just start humming things and make up a song on the trail. And I was looking down and I saw a $100 bill on the ground. And I'm 9 years old. I'm this is $1 million, right? So I picked it up, and my entire family had managed to walk by it. And I pick it up. We ended up looking around, see, if it was anyone's. But I put it away, saved it for at some point I'm going to buy something great. And that summer I went to a local music festival where I did an open mic, and I sang a cappella my first original song. The song was called I Don't Know How to Write a Song. It was very innovative. But I saw all these girls with their guitars, and I was okay, that's what I'm going to spend my money on. So I took that $100 bills and I went and bought a small travel Luna guitar that I still have. And that started a lot for me, because I was writing these melodies and coming up with them, lyrics, and But once I got the guitar, I was like, okay, I feel like a musician now. So back to sync, I love that that's a part of my artistry, my songwriting now, because it is like the perfect break from, you know, when I go into a write and I'm like either one writing for another artist or for myself, and there's this pressure to create something so memorable that's like gonna be a hit. And I love those days because you might create something magical. But I love the days when I go into a sync write and I've already done 2 artist writes that week, and I'm like, okay, I can write a song about something really general, something that's like doesn't have to be magical. It just has to be simple enough to connect with a large amount of people and to be applicable to many different placements in film and TV. And I now where I'm at, because when I started writing for sync in really since London, but truly I got into it after I graduated in June and in July, because the Nerve offered me to do a 6-song album for them, which I was excited about. I'm like, you know what, this is an opportunity, a way to get my foot in the door. So it's taken time to find the right producer to work with, because we do everything 50-50. So you split the album, you know, you pull your weight, and I'm almost finished with the first 2 songs, and the next 4 are gonna come out quickly. Like, we're in a process where like we've got the system down and we're ready to get these songs there. So
Anybody, if people are listening to this who know us, they may not know this. We opened for you at that release show.
True.
Wait, let's make it better for our audience. We opened for you at that release show, which happened to be at Sophia Roselle's house.
Yes, it was.
We brought up Sierra Jean in our set.
It's all connected, right?
And we're praying to God, year before, if you're listening, come do our show. You are the last piece we need.
That's awesome.
Okay, well, do you want to give us a little taste of Lifeline?
Absolutely.
You've got a guitar there. Go for it.
Yes, I do. Okay, here we are. 10 feet up, you're not coming down. Too bad I'm planted on solid ground. Out of line, being pulled around. Calling now, you don't hear a sound. No, you don't hear a sound. It's time, 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 time. Now that you're high as a kite, I should let go with a string. It's fine, 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 right. If I don't chase the lifeline that ties you back to me.
Awesome.
There it is.
I'm so excited for that one to come
Yeah,
out.
that one's cool.
What a great conversation that was. And what great impromptu performances from Amalia at the end of that episode, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was both of our favorite parts of that episode.
For sure.
And it definitely made it very special. So make sure you guys go check out Amalia's episode, as well as check her out on social media at Amalia Fleming on Instagram and at Amalia Fleming Official on TikTok.
Now, Liverpool will forever be associated with the Beatles. But whenever I think of the Beatles, I also think of the Beach Boys. And both of those bands made very prominent appearances in our conversation with Isaac Berryhill.
That they did. You and Isaac have always had a connection through the Beach Boys.
Yes,
right?
yes, we have. And Isaac's a huge Beach Boys fan. He's met some of the guys in the band before, and we've both, separate from each other, seen him in concert. And like, you know, we've always kind of had that connection ever since we got to know each other. But earlier this summer, we lost Brian Wilson, one of the founding members of the Beach Boys. And I mean, Brian was a visionary and just a creative genius and a force behind that band. And Isaac and I know, have so much love and respect for him. And so it makes this clip from that episode a little extra poignant looking back now. Here, take a listen. I will say this. Somewhere in my phone, I believe it's September of 2021, I have a video of you playing Twist and Shout on Belmont's campus. It was like you and I don't know who all is in the video. But like one night we were coming out of a class or the CAF or something, and you just kind of hear this big noise and it's like, ooh, what's going on over there? And there you are. You must have been playing for hours because you were just like, after this, like, I'm done. I'm going home. But just giving it everything you had. And it was like, man, this kid's got something.
Thank you.
But so Beatles goes way back to that's my earliest memory of you. I don't know how that Beach Boys thing started.
Yeah, no, yeah. I love the Beatles too, man. The Beatles, that's like one of the first bands I liked. I have early memories of hearing, like, in my dad's car, a lot of real hits like Help and like Hey Jude, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Favorite Beach Boys deep cut.
Let me think.
And like low key, like almost anything's a deep cut. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
true,
anything
that's
that's
true.
not very obvious is a deep cut.
I mean, my favorite Beach Boys album's Love You. So
Ooh, that's already inherently that's gonna make everything a deep cut.
everything off of that's kind of like, I mean, that's one of my biggest influences too, because that record, Brian, is just so like honest, even though it's like kind of cringy.
But like, okay, but like that almost plays into what you were talking about earlier with like authenticity and like kind of presenting it in this way that's like you feel for the person, but you're also kind of connected to them. Like,
Yeah.
Brian Wilson's a great example of that, where it's like you almost can't tell if he's in on the bit, but like you're like I want this guy to win. Like you're rooting for him.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of my favorites, that just one that comes to mind, I'm not saying this is my absolute, this just comes to mind, is Surf's Up. Because also, what an ironic, I love that. Like,
Yeah.
it's the Beach Boys, a song called Surf's Up. Like, you're picturing a song in your head, and it's not that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're picturing, like, something a la, like, Wipeout.
Yeah.
Right? Like, something, or maybe with some ooze over it, because it's the Beach Boys.
Yeah.
And then it's not.
No. And it's like in 1971 too, you know, like it's crazy. Yeah. And I don't know if I read this somewhere or it's just like something I just conjured up in a dream I had or something, but I think I heard somewhere like Surf's Up also could be like interpreted as kind of like Time's Up, like Surf's Up, you know what I mean? But I definitely think they were doing the ironic approach.
No, that
you know?
actually, yeah. Especially at that point in the band's history. Like,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, I love
Shoot.
it, man. They changed direction so many times, and it's a shame that people didn't follow them along.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they were like ahead of their time with that though. Like I think now artists feel a certain need to keep growing and to keep kind of developing. That wasn't really a thing at that point. Like
That's
bands
true.
like the Beatles at that time, like they just existed and then they broke up. Right? Like you were popular for a short amount of time and then like that was it. And the Beach Boys kind of, I mean, really from Brian's direction, kind of said like, oh, no, we're just going to keep digging further and like trying to find things. And I mean, to your point, sometimes it worked, sometimes it really didn't. But
Yeah.
there was always that constant desire to kind of renew,
Yeah.
you know, and I think they were ahead on that.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Because
Shoegaze?
I'm now also out of the loop.
Oh yeah.
You got to
it's-
educate me too.
It started in the late 80s, early 90s. It's kind of an offshoot of like alternative rock music, a lot of indie, like even like jangly music, like very 60s inspired, very inspired by noise and effects pedals. The name comes from an article where I can't believe I'm saying this on the podcast. Real shoegazers know. I can't believe I just said that. They'll know why it's funny that I'm explaining shoegaze on the podcast. But anyway, shoegaze, it comes from an article where they were like making fun of the guy's lack of stage presence, and they were just gazing at their shoes the whole time because they were looking at their effects pedals, trying to make sure everything sounded okay, you know?
That makes so much sense though.
Yeah, right? It makes sense now when you like know where it came from.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the most definitive shoegaze band is My Bloody Valentine, and everybody's just been trying to copy them since. I came up with the title That's All because the last track on it that's called That's All, that was like the title of that song for a while, but I also felt like that title kind of really summarized kind of what I want the EP to be loosely about. Like, I graduated in December, so like, and we really started hitting the ground running with this, recording it in like January. And in that process and working with Andre and like all that, I really began to reflect on like my time at Belmont and kind of looking back. And all those songs were written like over from like freshman year on, you know, like it kind of, That's All to me, I was kind of like, well, that's it. You know, I'm graduated. That's kind of like the title. I wanted it to be like looking back on my experiences at school and like what I learned from it, you know, and I don't know, making hit records.
I was wondering if that was kind of the influence on that. I was hoping it wasn't a moment of finality Not like a that's all, like I'm doing this
Oh,
EP
no.
and then I'm putting it away.
Yeah.
So we can expect more from you beyond this then.
Oh, dude, yeah, no. Honestly, I should probably call it like, but wait, there's more or something. Because like, honestly, this is just the beginning, man. Like we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep cooking.
Well, maybe that's the deluxe edition or something. Is like that's all, but wait, there's. You do a great job of that with some of your social media presence. We were kind of talking about that before we kind of properly started here. Tell us a little bit about how you found that kind of angle to take, because you're not someone who has a super clean, formal social media. You kind of run a very casual, like, hey man, if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, you're not. Like, and it seems very authentic to you. So like, but it's brave. So like, tell me about how you market your music and market yourself, because you kind of almost do it in a way that doesn't feel like marketing. It's very impressive.
Thank you. Well, I have a lot of people I like Andy Kaufman. He was a comedian. I have a poster of him that I've had in my room. It's on the album cover. But he really just he was very authentic, but in a way that seemed like he wasn't at all. And I kind of like that. It kind of makes you get like a weird connection with him, like you almost like feel for him, even though he's being so weird. But I like stuff like that, and I like Mac DeMarco, especially like this kind of deep cut stuff. But like in like the early days of his YouTube channel, he would just like post the weirdest stuff and be like, "Hey, new album out," and I don't know. I don't know. I've always thought that like my goal is never to be like super duper famous or whatever. I just want to like make money, so like if I can just have people that like what I do, and that's enough to make me like money, or if I just have a day job, I don't care. Like it's cool, you know what I mean? But the important thing to me is like you have a genuine connection to the music that I'm making, and because that's the most important thing, like I want to have like in my mind I have connections to artists that I really love that like will never ever talk to me like ever, but I want to like have that with like other people in a way, I guess.
We're so glad we got to have Isaac on. I had a pleasure getting to know him through this. He's such a genuine guy and true entertainer.
That he is, and that's what makes his live shows so good. So be sure to follow at Isaac Berryhill on Instagram and TikTok, because you're going to want to be the first to know about his upcoming live shows and future releases.
Another incredibly enjoyable episode, and certainly one of our more unpredictable ones, was with our good friend Sophia Roselle.
Yeah, we had like sirens going off that day during our taping. We had the first appearance of our podcast mascot dog, Millie, who's sitting here with me right now. And we just had a million laughs thanks to Soph.
Yeah, so share in our laughter and enjoy these moments as we look back at some of the moments from our episode with Sophia Roselle.
Well, no. Okay, so I'm not sure what story you're...
This is a big story, whichever, clearly not this one. But
I'm not sure what story you're referring to, but this is a different one. I have never been love bombed and then flown. Like, this guy flew from... Oh, don't include that. Clip that. I can't say where he's from. See, this is my problem. This is my problem. You gotta bleep that. Bleep it. Okay, so that no, this is great. So I wrote a few songs then went to Belmont, and I kind of got into like a creative block. I just was comparing myself to a lot of other people, other creative processes, and didn't know what to do. And I also was in the music business program, which I don't think was helping me really get as creative as I wanted to be. So I switched into the songwriting program. I auditioned for that and got in, and that just pretty much as soon as I got in, for some reason that just like really clicked with me, and I just started writing. And then this past year I've written probably about 70 songs, which is the most I've ever written ever.
What was your, if you had one, what was your aha moment in the songwriting program? It was like, this is what I need to be doing.
I feel like I had a bunch of different aha moments, because with songwriting it's so up and down. Sometimes I feel really depressed and not motivated, and sometimes I feel really motivated. But in the songwriting program, they would always kind of find ways to remotivate you. But one of the first moments was with Lauren Lucas, who was my songwriting 1 teacher. Shout out Lauren. But she kind of, at the very beginning of class, she kind of talked about writer's block and about if you walk into a room and you're like, I'm going to write the next Madison Beer, the next Taylor Swift, the next Sabrina Carpenter song, sometimes you can have that mindset, but also I feel like you have to remember they already exist and you just have to write. Like, I think what I was doing is in my head, I was like, how am I ever going to make a pop song as good as blank? And when I sat down to write, I would really get in my head and start self-editing. And she was like, just sit down and write, be you, be authentic. And that's kind of I've always been drawn to people who are super authentic. Like, I've always looked up to people who are just super real. And so I was like, that's what I should be doing. So obviously the first few things I wrote that year were not good. And now that I look back, I'm like, oh wow, the creativity. But then it's like you have to write, you have to get out things out of your system even if they're not good. Like, write a bad song so you can write a good one tomorrow. That's kind of what I started doing. And then, I had moments of like, oh, I'm not good enough to do this. I have those still today. But when I went into songwriting too, Jody Marr, love Jody. Literally, it was one of the most amazing teachers at Belmont that I ever had. She just every single day was so inspiring. Was like, she kept saying, everyone has an audience. There's somewhere out there is an audience for you. And that's inspiring because a lot of the times you think in order to become successful, you have to have, Taylor Swift stardom, like millions of people walking up to you and watching you. But she was kind of like, even if you find one person that likes your music, that's one other person that you were able to get to relate to your music. Like, how amazing and awesome is that? And when you start thinking about it from that point of view, that's when it gets really inspiring again, because all I've wanted to do with my music is obviously like it's an outlet for me, but it's also like I want to help other people. I want other people to feel heard or feel like they can put on the song and dance to it or cry to it or whatever. And so when I thought about it from that, I think that was the when you're doing something like this, you have to remember your reason why. And the why can't be I want to be famous, or the why can't be like I want to have fans. Like, obviously that's a part of it, but really the why for me is like I want to connect with people and I want to do for other people what artists have done for me, especially when I was in high school and I was just going through it. Like, without the people I looked up to in that time, I would seriously not be here. And so inspiring other people, like I got a DM the other day and this girl was like, I started playing guitar. I got a guitar and started learning because of you. And that, I almost started crying because I was like, that is huge. Like, you don't know, that person might be the next big star, like you never know who you're inspiring. And so when Jody was talking about that and also just talking about how you can use music to inspire other people and women and minorities and talk about important social justice topics, she talked about that a lot, and that also was a super big aha moment. So once I kind of got out of my head and also stopped comparing myself as much to other people and just writing whether or not it was bad or good and accepting that my music is mine and it's different from other people's, and some people might not like it and some people might, and for the people who like it, I'm here. Once I had the melody, I was like, this is a really weird melody and I need like this, I feel like this song needs like a kick to it. So then I started playing the chords differently, and then I was like, I don't know what chords I'm playing. I'm not good at piano. I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, who is good at piano and who also could probably help me make like a very girly pop bridge, second verse, all of the things, and help me really like mold the chorus? Scarlett O'Hara. And so we got together, showed her the chorus and the verse, and she loved it. And then we wrote the second verse and the bridge, and it was so fun. And it was still kind of like almost like a jazzy pop musical theater vibe. Like, it was completely different than how it is now. Yeah. And then I took it to my producer Griff, who is so insanely talented. I literally played it I didn't even have a voice memo. I played him it on the piano. And he was like, okay. And I imagine he was probably like, okay, like this is an interesting vibe for you. And he kind of started making this track, and immediately like he just knew the vision, because immediately it started sounding like what I had envisioned it to be in my head. And in the chorus, like, there's a boy in my bed, there's kind of a space between the and I don't know what to do. That was totally him. Like, he was the one who figured out how to space that out in a way that was pop and not whatever I was doing, jazz, musical theater, pop.
We're so grateful to Soph for coming on the show while we were still working out the kinks and kind of finding our way.
Yes. And of course, make sure you guys go follow Sophia Roselle on her social medias, TikTok and Instagram at Sophia Roselle, to keep up with her latest releases and her other digital content.
What a great time we had with Sophia Roselle, and honestly, so many great moments that we've already looked at so far, but there's so many more to get to. I think we're going to have to do a part 2.
I think so too. So stay tuned for many more moments like these in part 2 of Best of Season 1 of The Mixing Room.